Hello everyone, it's Dylan from Yugioh Everything, and welcome back to another Yu-Gi-Oh video. So this is a new series that we are going to be doing on the channel, where we take a look at different Yu-Gi-Oh anime conspiracy theories, and I try to dive into them as much as possible, giving my thoughts and insight as well. If you want me to explore any anime conspiracies, please leave them down below in the comments. And in today's video, we are going to start with one of my favorite ones, and that is Crow's role in the Dark Signers arc. Many different theories have him as the final Dark Signers boss, as if that was the original story plans for the Dark Signers arc before Black Wings ended up selling really well. You guys have heard the story by now, I'm sure. We even have a really long Reddit thread from years ago which debunks the idea of Crow being the Dark Signers boss, which I'll link down below. And the only evidence that we really have towards this is that Kazuki Takahashi described him in the 25th anniversary book as a character that would steal Yusei's D-Wheel, kind of in the same vein as a Team Rocket character. Well, we all know that that wasn't really how Crow was presented, so I guess people took that and ran with it and said maybe he was supposed to be the final boss of the Dark Signers instead of Rex Godwin. So really, what is the truth here? Well, I personally think it could be something in the middle. There are plenty of signs and indicators that Crow's role was changed at the last minute, in my opinion, and I think I may have been able to pinpoint the exact moment in the Dark Signers arc where Crow originally was supposed to die before writing plans changed. Let's dive into this Yu-Gi-Oh anime conspiracy theory. We have to start with Luna's dream with the Signer Dragons. Luna, at the beginning of one of the episodes, has a dream in which she sees the fight between Signers and Dark Signers, including all of the Signer Dragons attacking the Dark Signers. And the Signer Dragon that we see in this dream is Lifestream Dragon. Well, as we know, Lifestream Dragon did not become a thing for over 100 episodes later, as it was Rua's Signer Dragon that he didn't get until the duel against Aporia in the very final season. There is no sign of Black Winged Dragon anywhere in this shot, which would heavily imply that at this point in the story, Black Winged Dragon was not planned to be a Signer Dragon. Therefore, Crow is not planned to be a Signer Dragon. Moreover, in Ending 2 and Opening 2, which are the endings and openings that play during this arc, Crow is present, but his Signer Dragon is nowhere to be found in the shot with all of the Signer Dragons. And after the intro chorus ends for Ending 2, they show all 5 of our Signers, followed by a pan-up shot of, again, all 5 of our Signers, and Crow is nowhere to be found in any of these shots. The final shot of Opening 2 also shows all of our major players in this arc, with no sign of Crow there either. It's also important to remember that Crow would eventually duel Bomber in episode 51, and Bomber also seems to almost be shoehorned into this arc as well. He wasn't really foreshadowed to be a Dark Signer at all, and looking back on it, it feels like they decided to make him a Dark Signer just so they could get Crow back into the story and give him a credible victory. Let's rewind to episode 44. This is the conclusion of the duel between Crow and Jaeger. An earthquake starts, which forces Jaeger to end the duel and escape. We then see this black mist engulf the entire area of Satellite, which insta-kills citizens and turns them to dust. Crow gets completely consumed by this mist while riding his D-Wheel, exclaiming that he doesn't want to die. Let's see how long it takes this black mist to kill people. 2 seconds after engulfing them? Well, Crow very clearly gets engulfed while the D-Wheel is in motion. After the smoke clears, we see the remnants of the stuff people were doing before they were killed. Well, we also see Crow's D-Wheel on the ground with no sign of Crow, no sign of a fridge or anything in sight. A fridge, I say? Bear with me. We then don't see Crow for 7 full episodes as the Dark Signers arc is really starting to move forward. The famous encounter of the Signers and Dark Signers doesn't even feature him. Well, in episode 51, they go back to the scene and somehow, some way, there is a fridge right next to Crow's D-Wheel that Crow miraculously pops out of alive. Ladies and gentlemen, I believe this is supposed to be Crow's death in the original story of the Dark Signers arc. Logically, Crow surviving here makes zero sense. A fridge was not shown to be there in episode 44, so it's as if there was no foreshadowing indicators at this point in time that Crow was supposed to survive. If you watch episode 44 in the moment that this happens, there is no doubt that Crow should no longer be alive due to this black mist. And we just went over it earlier. You turn to dust within 2 seconds of the smoke engulfing you, which it clearly engulfed Crow in episode 44 while he was riding his motorcycle. So even if right after this scene happens, Crow somehow stops the motorcycle, gets off it, opens the fridge, goes into the fridge, and survives, that would take way more than 2 seconds. And it's so clear from this shot that he is clearly fully engulfed by this deadly smoke. Crow comes back to life in episode 51 just to square off against Bomber, who becomes a Dark Signer the same episode Crow survives. It feels like both of these characters were just changed to duel each other and to eventually give Crow that role of becoming a signer just really like 10 episodes after episode 51, and it just doesn't make sense. As we know, Crow does go on to defeat Bomber, he becomes a signer, and takes on Godwin with Yusei and Jack. But here's where things get interesting. The Dark Signer prerequisite for a lot of these Dark Signers is death. Carly died and became a Dark Signer. Kiryu was on death's door, became a Dark Signer. Misty died, became a Dark Signer. So, was the original plan to have Crow die here in episode 44 and become a Dark Signer? That really is the question, because if you believe like me that this was the point in the story where Crow originally was supposed to die, it's why he was not foreshadowed in any of the openings and endings to be associated with the Signers, it's why he was not shown to be in the fights against the Dark Signers, it's why his dragon was not in Luna's dream just about 10 episodes prior to this moment where it seems like he should have definitely died. The question is, was he supposed to be a Dark Signer? Was he supposed to die here and maybe just come back in later seasons? Was he supposed to be the final boss of the Dark Signers, which does seem like a pretty major jump? I don't know, but I do know for one thing that Crow's role, I believe, was definitely changed while the Dark Signers arc was going on, and to say that Crow was always meant from the beginning of the show, or at least even the beginning of this arc, to have as big of a positive role as he did, I think is a little bit of a stretch given all the indicators in this arc that we have. But guys, let me know your thoughts on one of my favorite Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime conspiracies. There is certainly a lot of smoke here, and I do believe that he was supposed to die originally in episode 44, and at some point between 44 and 51, they did decide to revive him, and then ultimately make him that 5th signer and really push Rua to the side. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and any other Yu-Gi-Oh! Anime conspiracies you want to see me dive into, just leave them down below. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have an amazing day. Take care, guys.